Hi, I'm Diane McGarry with Dragett Arts. With me today are co-host Tom McGarry, visual artist Ariana Padron, and ASL interpreter Gay. Ariana was born in Caracas, Venezuela, and immigrated to the United States as a small child with her family. As a young age, she watched Spirited by, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Studio Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli, yeah. Spirited Away by Studio Ghibli.
Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry. This profoundly changed her perspective on life and ignited her passion for creating whimsical stories and art. This inspiration led her to study at Ringling College of Art and Design, where she graduated with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Illustration in 2018. Since graduation, Ariana has dedicated herself to improving artistic skills, learning more about children's literature, and developing personal projects. Her artwork features vibrant textures and bright colors which bring warmth and life to her illustrations. She enjoys creating pieces that evoke feelings of whimsy and curiosity. That's so true. Wait till you see them. Ariana also dreams of one day writing and illustrating her own stories. In 23, she launched her own business, Teeny Wanders, which creates art and products designed to help adults connect with their inner child. She can often be found selling her work at art markets around Boston most Saturdays. To stay grounded, Ariana enjoys sledding in the winter, exploring nature, and being playful with her partner and family. When she isn't drawing, she loves watching good horror movies. Oh my gosh, I hate horror movies. Petting her cats or cooking delicious meals with her partner. I love the balance you have between life and work, except for the horror movies. They scare me.
Thank you.
That, that's such a hard thing to do. How have you been able to balance life like that?
It's always changing. So recently, my work-life balance is more work than life right now. I've had a lot of great opportunities pop up recently. I am actually opening up my own retail store in Lowell,
Oh,
um,
wow.
at the High Public Market. We're hoping to open November 1st this year. So I wasn't planning on opening a store anytime soon, but it was such a great opportunity that it would be kind of stupid to turn it down. So, and on top of that, I also just went to a Latinx publishing conference in September in New York, and I reconnected with an agent that I had previously talked to about 3 years ago. And she liked the story that I presented to her. So I'm also working on writing that at the same time.
Oh, this is so exciting, Ariana.
Thank you. So it's a lot of moving parts right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to rebalance the life and the work at the same time now that I have a lot going on. But we'll get there. We'll get there again. Um, yeah.
Neat. So you're going to have a store down the street from us in Lowell. That's nice.
I would love you guys to maybe come by sometime. It's
Sure.
gonna be a great place. It's me and 13 other small businesses, and I think it's gonna be a really great place and a great community hub for people to come and really put Lowell back on the map and really help, hopefully help downtown thrive once again. So we're
That's
really excited.
what's the address again?
It's 101 Page Street in
Ah,
Lowell, Mass.
cool. We'll definitely go find it.
Thank you.
So you wanted to share some of your whimsy works here. Let's start with this one.
All right. So this one was probably one of the first illustrations I did that I felt that I finally connected what was in my mind onto the sheet of paper. Like the skills have finally caught up with my vision.
Mm.
um, I made this, I believe, in 2020, around there, and I had a mentorship with another children's book illustrator, and she was guiding me, helping me progress my portfolio. And this is one of the pieces I created. I was inspired by Kiki's Delivery Service from Studio Ghibli, but I wanted to make it my own. So I also saw that I found an image on Pinterest of these kids flying fish kites, and the idea popped into my mind. What if we have witches leading these giant fishes migrating? through the sky. Like that's their job. They help them migrate throughout the planet every year to their location. So that's where this piece started. I really wanted to imitate pastel, traditional new pastels, because that's usually what I work with. So I had a lot of fun playing around with different brushes, and this was my first time doing like more of a wide screen because I was making this for a portfolio piece for my children's book portfolio. So taking into account the the divider in the middle when you open the page,
Uh,
the full page. Um,
sure.
but that's where this kind of started. Yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces that I've ever made, even to this date.
That's neat. And I really like the witches carrying little bags with little fish in them.
Yes, actually, they're little fire
They're
spirits.
little fires. Oh, so they can
Oh,
light.
okay.
Yeah, so their
So,
lighting is the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they had like little guppies or something. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're
Oh,
perfect.
that's neat.
Thank you.
So neat. Yeah, you never know what people are going to think. Sometimes people say something and I'm like, what are you talking about?
So this is a more recent piece. I After a couple of years of working digitally, I found myself becoming too stiff, too perfect, because you can always infinitely undo. You can always zoom in and try to get every perfect little pixel. And I was getting to a point where it wasn't becoming that fun anymore. So I
Oh,
took a step back and looked at some of my old art from college, actually. And I found these new pastel still life paintings that I did of some fruit. And I really loved the texture. And I forgot how much I actually loved working with new pastels in actual reality and not just digitally. So this is one of the first pieces I've done since then where I actually started the whole piece traditionally. So I did a colored ground in gouache, acrylic gouache, and then I sealed that with gesso. I sanded it so that I could have the ground for the actual pastel. And then over that, I went ahead and did the whole piece traditionally. And then I scanned it into Photoshop and just cleaned it up here and there, adding like that little fence at the back, um, and some line work because I'm still figuring out how to add the line work. Once we've built up so many layers of new pastel, it gets a little bit difficult. But that's something I hope to figure out in the future. Um, this inspiration came from actually an old painting called The Swing. I don't know. I'm sure you guys know. But I wanted to make my own twist on it. So instead of a very elegant French woman swinging, I thought, why not make it a little cute pumpkin girl and she swings in the graveyard with her friendly little ghosts.
really nice.
very
I like
cute,
all
yes.
the bows that she has too. They're cute.
Thank you.
Very nice touch. Yeah, there's a lot of whimsy in what you do. It's fun.
Thank It's truly something I hold very dear to me. Trying to keep that inner child in me active at all times. Because that what makes your imagination. That's one of the most important parts of art itself is having that ability to reach back into your soul and pull something out from your imagination.
Yeah. Do you find sometimes that being on the computer a lot gets in the way of this?
It definitely it's definitely hard. There is times where I might go on Instagram just to update something because unfortunately, as an artist today, you have to have some type of social media, right? So I go up there just to do one task, and what ends up
Um,
happening is you're scrolling
yeah,
for much longer than you anticipated. So it's eating into your actual time, and then you see some things that you don't want to see, or if you start to doom scroll, right? So it's very difficult. I'm trying to relearn a healthy balance with it, especially right now and with everything going on in the world. There's a lot of things happening that can cause a lot of anxiety. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to have that dampen my imagination or my optimism or my view of the world and trying to find the good and the magic in the everyday. Um, I personally have started to just put a time limit on it, so it just blocks the app. completely, so I can't access it.
Wow,
Which
that is so smart. We were
Yeah.
just talking to someone about how when she called herself a geriatric millennial, which I'd never heard before. And she said she sees her kids on the screen all the time when they're sitting talking. Her children really aren't talking. They're not sitting around the table and eating together. They're physically there, but their thoughts are somewhere else all the time.
so it's definitely I see it in my own home sometimes, and actually my dad is a little bit he's like that a lot. We have to keep telling him, hey, put the phone away. We're trying to have a family dinner. You know?
Good for you. Don't give up on him.
Exactly.
Well, here's another whimsy.
All right, so this one was an inspiration. The inspiration came from I actually went to Portland, Maine with my partner, and I don't remember which lighthouse it was, but it was a very stormy and foggy day, and so I was just taking photos. And when I was doing portfolio pieces, I like to look back at photos that I've been taking in real life because one of the best ways to do like art or really to come up with new pieces is just to look back at all the things in your photo reel that you've taken just because you thought it looked cool or just because it looked pretty. And I like to mash up a bunch of them and just try to come up with ideas. Um, so I saw the piece that I took from the lighthouse and it just hit me. I'm like, this would be a great piece because the atmosphere and the colors just look so lovely and so beautiful. And it already looked pretty whimsical. I'm like, what if I just add a little extra more? So this one is So this is the like spirit of the lighthouse, this little ghost spirit. It like guards the lighthouse. It helps sailors come ashore. And this little boy is one of the only people that can see him. Because I like to believe that children, since they're so innocent, have that ability to really see where adults can't see as easily.
Mm, that's so sweet. And you also have two couples walking around the lighthouse as well. So it's
Yeah.
not
So
that,
it's not one. Yeah. I always like that little details so that the longer you look at it, the more things you pick up. So tiny little stories within the actual story overall.
oh yeah, that's important. That's important. I love the branches on the ghost as well.
Thank you. That was definitely some inspiration from Princess Mononoke, another Studio Ghibli film. They have a giant forest, like god of the forest. And it has like so many antlers. I only did like two antlers, but this one has like I would say at least 10 combined.
Uh,
See, and all I was thinking was that's what you do with a snowman.
That's also true. You, you add branches to make arms.
Age
yeah, but
myself.
I see ghostly arms like this, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had little ghost arms. Yeah, he's looking at the little boy. So
Mm,
he's happy that somebody can see him.
The little boy's glad somebody can see him too, because he's all by himself.
mm,
Yes, that's true. You know, I didn't even notice that. I made it and and I didn't register that. This is why it's always so fun
mm.
to show people art and have discussions about it. Because even as the artist, people bring up things to me that I didn't even notice that I did.
I think we have one more of your wonderful pieces here. Let me see. Oh, yes. This is your cat.
Yes, my little boy Tata. Um, so this one is the second piece I did after the swing, where I was doing it mostly traditional. Well, I would say like 95% of all of this traditional. This one I even was able to do the line work a lot better than the first piece. This one has very little retouching in actual digital. Um, this is just me again looking at my camera roll and seeing my cat really cutely sitting in front of the window. We have a little cat bed for them.
Uh-huh.
And my living room is not this cute and pink, but it's art and I can do whatever I want to it. So
That's
it's
true.
it's what I wish my living room looked like,
Mm,
I guess.
mm,
Um, but yeah, basically the same process as the first time. But this time I did use markers as a ground instead of wash because I was experimenting. I found out that the markers show up a lot more uh, than the actual wash, so I had to actually put a lot more layers of new
Uh,
pastel on top,
mm,
um, which kind of made it feel like I was losing some of that ground peeking through on like the first piece. So I discovered that I like wash or watercolors a lot more than using markers, even though it's um faster because I don't have to set up like a bajillion things. I just like the outcome more when it's just wash or watercolor.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically the same thing. Uh, the color brown, the gesso, and then the pastel over top.
And the delicacy of how the curtains are just draped. Yeah.
Thank you. That was hard. There was a lot of like smudging out and taking off layers of pastel and then putting it back on and then like shaving a darker pastel and just trying to like get in there to make a line.
But it makes it look real.
Thank you.
Because a lot of times, people draw things and you don't see everything, right? Because there's a texture even with paints and with pastels. And actually, I was surprised. My husband and I went to a museum where they showed you how thickly Van Gogh would put on those oil paints. Never occurred to me he would have like a half an inch to an inch thick some places on the canvas. Because I just think, oh my gosh, that would crack all over the place. But mostly when you're doing watercolors, of course, and pastels, it's a lot thinner than that. But
Yeah.
there's the texture to it, and there's still a depth of color.
Yes, I every time I tell people that I work with pastel, it's like two reactions. Either they like love the medium or they're like afraid of it because it can be a very unforgiving kind of medium, um, especially if you don't know how to layer colors. Um, but out of all the materials I tried in college, this is the medium that actually came to me the easiest. Like for some reason, it just clicked with me. The way to apply the colors and everything. I was okay with oil painting. I was okay. Oh, I'm gonna be honest, watercolor was like probably one of my weakest. Like the layering, it was like I don't have the patience, I guess, with or I'm not fast enough to get it exactly how it should look like. At least what my professors wanted. But pastels is where was my butter and jam, as you would say. My bread and butter. There it is.
You aren't fast enough. You mean because the paint would dry too fast?
Yeah, yeah, you have to look like wet and wet, or you get like those weird like lines
Mhm.
unless you work with them in the way that you wanted to. But the way I wanted to was just like all one, one color, one clean wash, and I was just not never good enough. I was just not fast enough.
uh,
I'm not sure. Just me and watercolors are not friends. That's all I can say.
I remember when my children were little, we would soak the paper and then you know, put it on a board so it's almost attached to the board and very carefully paint on top of that. It is a challenge. It's a huge challenge.
I have so much respect to watercolor artists because it is very challenging for me at the least.
It's interesting because when I was little, we're talking a millennium ago, but when I was little, they didn't we didn't wet the whole page. We just wet our brush and put it on the paint, and that was watercolors, but it wasn't as difficult and it wasn't as sensitive as when you have a whole wash.
Yeah, it's
The colors blend and you don't necessarily get sharp lines.
it's very soft, and then you can control the where you want those hard lines for like shadows and things, and it just my brain's like it's a lot. It's a lot.
So you talked about using watercolor wash and also with pastels. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so when I use watercolors or like gouache, I'm using it mostly just for color ground. So I start any piece by um transferring the sketch onto the watercolor paper, or I do multimedia paper, like a thick type. Um, and then I go over the whole thing, depending. But most of the time I do a whole wash, either in watercolor or gouache, and it's usually like a very bright color. So like think of like a really bright pink or a really warm orange or a really cold blue. So that way I'm not just working on white when I'm doing a pastel work. But the wash doesn't have to be perfect, and it's usually is not. It's usually very ugly. But I'm just using it to breathe some uniformity into the color palette when I'm actually using all the different pastels, because I don't have the ability, when I do digital, to like change all the saturations. I only have 96 pastel colors that I have, and I have to figure out how to like use that limited color palette and either mix within the actual like two colors and blend it together, or just use the colors that they have. Um, but having that colored ground actually really helps make those colors like come together, because even though you're covering it up, it like comes through. It like pokes through in spots here and there. And I just find that it really brings the whole piece together. If you're just drawing on white, it's a lot more difficult, and the colors really, I feel, aren't as pretty. They aren't as pretty. um, but yeah, that's what I mean when I use a watercolor ground. I literally just squeeze it out of the tube, and I'm very rough with it. I just splatter it. It's not pretty at all, but I'm just doing it to get it not to be a white piece of paper. And sometimes I'll go a step further and try to add some value in there, using the same color. So I'll just go over it once the watercolor is dry and just add another layer of it just to darken some areas, so I don't have to work as hard with the actual pastels afterwards.
Wow.
That I learned from oil painting. Um,
Oh,
my professor told us if we start in a ground of like acrylic paint and we put down the actual values of the paint itself, when you actually do the oil painting on top, it's a lot easier to get that nice range of values.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. So what kind of pastels do you use?
I use Prismacolor new pastels. It's like the square ones.
mm,
They're, I would say they're not as like chalky, or maybe no. It's hard to, I don't like oil pastels as much. They don't blend as
Wondering.
well. Oh, I haven't played around with them enough, but they don't blend as well as I find, at least what I want, because I'm searching for a softness, but also like a punch in color, or I can make like a really hard line, um, but then I can very gently like smooth it out, and it's just airy and soft. It's like that's the best I can describe it, but I still want texture. But I find oil pastel has too much texture,
mm.
and it's really hard to blend. I like different colors because I'm not sure. It's not for me.
It's the
At least when
oil.
I
It's
try
hard to, yeah,
it.
it's really interesting. So how did you choose um visual art as your medium as an artist as opposed to any of the other ones that are around?
I actually went into college applying for animation, the computer animation division, but it's a really competitive major to get into. And I did not get into it, which I think now is probably for the best, to be honest. But I was really devastated because I still do to this day want to make my own stories and all that stuff. But at that time I said, well, we can at least switch to illustration because you're still telling stories. It's just not the way that I envisioned it. So that's why I mostly went into illustration. It was a redirect essentially, but the core is still the same. I still want to make stories. It's just in a different format. So instead of it being animated or helping it make animated movies, it's making children's books, and writing those, and hopefully maybe one day somebody picks it up and they can make it into an
Uh,
movie. So,
yeah.
That's neat.
yeah.
That's neat. I look forward to the stories that you
Mm,
create because your drawings are so incredibly
mm,
animated.
mm.
Thank you so much.
Well, Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Ariana. This has been great.
Thank you.
Please join us for her art gallery during our January Arts Saturday, where you can see more of Ariana's works. We'd like to take a moment to thank all our sponsors for making this program possible. Please tell them thank you. If you're interested in being a sponsor, please get in touch with us at draketarts@gmail.com or go to our website, draketarts.com/donate. For more information about our programs and our Art Saturdays, please also go to our website. That's draketarts.com. This and all our programs are archived on the Drake It Arts YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@Drake It Arts. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah.